Just joking. When wokeness was born, I was told by a congregant that my humor was lame. These are in her honor. We need a rebirth of laughter. No kidding. It's not something that's widely talked about, but for years, Baptist pastors have had their own secret remedy after a tough deacons meeting or a church conference where discussions range from who's responsible for mowing the grass to when the invocation should take place and how often the carpet gets shampooed. Many pastors return home with a killer headache. They slip off their coats and shoes and make a beeline for the medicine cabinet, pulling out their coveted powder. With a little careful folding of the paper, they cup it to their lips and down their BC powder. Now, some folks might think BC means before Christ, but it stands for Baptist Church. This BC powder has some unique attributes, Just consider the word power. Take out the D, and what do you have? Power. That letter D stands for deacons, and that's just a taste of the secret ingredients your pastor relies on. So, ensuring he has a good stock of BC powder that's Baptist church powder is essential for any pastor. And by the way, be nice to your kids. They'll be the ones picking your nursing home one day. In a lighter moment, a 10-year-old girl got some help from a librarian to navigate the card catalog. Later on, she approached the librarian again, asking how to spell tequila. Tequila, the librarian spelled out. The girl thanked her and went back to her quest. A bit later, she returned, looking upset. I just can't find it, she said. The librarian inquired, What book are you looking for, dear? To which the girl responded, Tequila Mockingbird. Oh, and speaking of family quirks, we decided to child-proof our home about 3 years ago, but they still managed to find a way in. Grandkids truly are God's reward for not killing your children. We need to shift the perspective on funerals and inject some fun back into life. Hence, tonight's topic, put the hearse in reverse. I want to live again. When we focus on the fundamentals of life, we can bring more joy back into those very fundamentals. I grew up in a slightly dysfunctional family, and let's say my religious upbringing had its quirks too. Believe it or not, I came to know Christ through a Mormon. Yes, I know you're surprised, but he was Rufus Mormon, a guest revival preacher at Shady Grove Baptist Church. And then there was my name. It came with complications. As a kid, my initials, JW, made other kids steer clear of me on the playground. We didn't have much diversity. Everyone was either a Methodist or a Baptist. Word on the street was my initials stood for Jehovah's Witness, making some think I was a secret religious infiltrator. Fast forward to adulthood, I proudly labeled my mailbox with J.W. Wallace until I heard some visitors gossiping about it. See, I told you he's a Jehovah's Witness. Have you noticed the word fun is tucked right in dysfunctional? It's high time to take fun from dysfunctional and bring it into life, dysfunction and all. And here's another fun story. Little Susan was a mother's helper, assisting with setting the table when guests came over. Everything was prepped and everyone sat down. Then Mom noticed something amiss. Susan, she said, you didn't put a knife and fork at Mr. Smith's place? Susan responded, I thought he wouldn't need them. Daddy says he always eats like a horse. Here's another. A man was flying in a hot air balloon and realized he was lost. He lowered the balloon and spotted a man below. Excuse me, can you help me? I promised a friend I'd meet him half an hour ago, but I have no idea where I am. The man below said, You're in a hot air balloon hovering about 30 feet above this field at 40 to 42 degrees north latitude and 58 to 60 degrees west longitude. You must be an engineer, guessed the balloonist. I am, replied the man. But how did you know? Well, said the balloonist, everything you said is accurate, but it doesn't help me at all. I'm still lost. The man quipped back, you must be a manager. And when asked why, he explained, you don't know where you are or where you're going. You've made a promise that's impossible to keep, and you expect me to solve your problem. You're exactly where you were before, but somehow now it's my fault. And here's another business joke. A group of managers tasked with measuring the height of a flagpole ended up in a mess, falling off ladders and dropping tape measures. An engineer strolled over, pulled the flagpole out of the ground, measured it while it was flat, and then walked off with the result. After he left, one manager laughed. Isn't that typical of an engineer? We're after height, and he just gives us length.